Alo Snacks, and welcome to the Jodi Jar. I am gonna stop calling it my weekly torment because that is just not true anymore. We are back for more Death Stranding today, and it is gonna be. I'm gonna explain this probably several times throughout the stream, but we've switched over to the director's cut. So I did a little bit off screen with Manal just to get us like halfway where we got yesterday, which is part of why this stream's starting as late as it is. And then we're gonna get a little bit further. Maybe we can finish the first map today. Maybe not. We'll have to see. Manal, what did you think of all those cutscenes you watched?
The baby freaks me out. I'm not gonna lie, the baby freaks me out. Why he look like that? Why is he not allowed to be alive? What's up with all of that? Actually, we'll find out.
Good questions all. We probably won't find out this stream, but we will find out. Hi Dogtooth, hi Midmush Gaming, welcome to the stream. Dogtooth, it's good to see you again. You were pretty active in the stream yesterday. It's good to see you come back. And Midmush Gaming, it's always good to see you. We don't see you that often, but I'm always happy whenever we see you. And that is not me guilting you. You don't have to be here every minute. That's fine. Let me pull up the game.
Well, Jodi does that. Yeah, Midmush, you asked how are we doing today? I think we're doing pretty good. Oh, Judith's here too.
Hi, Judith.
It was nice to be talking to Jodi before stream. We've been trying to schedule a call for a long time because we're girlfriends and it's been hard, but it was nice. Gideon says hi. Whoa, Gideon the cat. My cat is somewhere. I got home and the first thing she did is she sat very politely in front of me and gave one single polite meow, and then I realized no one had fed her lunch, so she got her lunch and she was happy. And now she's, I think, lounging probably in the sun in my bedroom because that's where the sun shows. Yep. J Hill!
J Hill, welcome. So Judith and J Hill weren't here when I explained this. So we switched over to the director's cut because there's some things in it I've never experienced in Death Stranding before. And it was it was a very cheap upgrade, so I decided to do that. That also meant I had to start over again, which meant I had to watch the opening cutscenes for the third day in a row. But we are just after the game starts to open up. We're about to head over to the way station west of Capital Knot City, so we're retreading a little bit from yesterday.
Judith, my cat can also be dramatic. Des will get really dramatic when she's
I'm going to skip a lot of this dialogue, by the way, because we saw it on stream yesterday.
But yeah, Des can be really dramatic when she wants to play, or we forgot to clean her litter box. And when we forget to clean her litter box for long enough, she'll just start yelling for like hours, and you're like, what's wrong with you? You have food you've been played with, and then you look at the litter box, and you're like, oh, well, so sorry.
And hey, Dogtooth, it's not Gideon Ofnir, it's Gideon Nav. That's who Gideon is named after. Gideon Nav from Gideon the Ninth.
Des is short for Death Cat for Kitty. Yep. We want to get a dog.
I already
call Link.
Sorry, go ahead.
But we call him. But his full name is Lincoln Bark. Anyways, go on.
I already knew that that's what Des stood for, but I still like it. It kind of hits me every time.
Funny. J Hill says you're gonna get that thing you forgot to get yesterday. I don't know, probably, but this is a different file.
I'm kind of rushing a little bit. I don't want to do that much of this for the third day, but we're not very far away from like catching up to where we were, and then we can just move on, and that's gonna be good.
It's weird because I have the stream on but muted, but I also have the stream not delayed because of that's how we do this thing.
Yeah.
And I should turn off the screen on this side. It's not gonna work for me long term.
Yeah, the delay can be hard to be used to if you're watching both at the same time.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I usually pop out the chat, but I just didn't this time for whatever reason.
Like when I'm sitting with Pepper while she's streaming and I'm trying to also type in chat, it can be so weird having the stream all open to do that because I'm seeing like 15 seconds delay also.
Yeah. I got the chat open. There's a crying baby.
Yeah, he doesn't like being submerged in water, which is fair.
I mean, he's always submerged in water, though.
Well, no, but it's gotta be scary to see the pod submerged, though.
Oh, yeah. I also deduced that the baby is probably in more pee. I think that is the accurate fluid, because that's what amniotic fluid actually is in real life. It's usually mostly pee, because where else is the baby gonna pee? Anyway, so I think this is more evidence of Kojima's weird fixation on pee.
Yes, I think you're correct about that.
Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
Like, Death Stranding is already the game that shows off his weird fixation with pee the most, and there was more of it than I even realized. Once again, I'm going to drop some... I'm going to get this stuff. I'm going to drop a little... Oh, that's why you don't rush in this game. I should know better.
I don't know if it's a kink, Judith, based on what I understand.
Yeah, like...
I think it's a fixation. I think it's different.
It feels thoroughly non-sexual to me. It's weird. But, like, yeah, I'm once again dropping off Lost Cargo in here, and then we'll come back and get it on the way back to Capital Knot City, because that's where it's for.
I don't know. From what I understand, Judith, I just don't think it's a kink. I think it's a fixation. I think it's like this is a good symbol for the thing I mean kind of thing.
Yeah. And the fact
but
that
I don't
he's
know
used
what the
it,
thing he means is.
The fact that he's used it as symbols for different things over the years is, whatever. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just don't think about it too hard, I guess.
It feels like maybe he's trying to do like the blood symbolism, but like, what if we weren't everywhere? Like, what if I chose something like I was a hipster about it? I think that's the situation.
Judith says, in Death Stranding 2, Fragile will piss on you. No, Kojima would never have a woman do that. It's always men. Every time it's men. I don't understand why. Can I turn myself up a bit? I can.
Am I good, Nepeta? I hope I said
Nepeta, that's Pepper.
Nepeta. Oh, that's more peppers?
That's a Homestuck name.
Oh my god, I hate Homestuck. I don't actually hate Homestuck. Homestuck is probably fine. I've never read it.
You have made an enemy of Pepper for life.
Audrey's a big Homestuck person. She read it and when it first came out. I was friends with a lot of Homestuck people, and they all read it. And I tried getting into it, but I didn't understand how to get into it because no one explained to me how it worked.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like the reason I hate Homestuck is in part because twofold. One, the way Homestuck was used by my friends was to categorize me as a witch of heart. I don't know what that meant, and I didn't like it. Two, because Homestuck, every time anyone's been like, oh, you should read Homestuck so you understand this big part of my identity, they say shit like, oh, but you need a slur filter, and I'm like, okay, you've lost me. You've convinced me not even... I don't care about consuming problematic media, but if the only thing you tell me about a media is that it's problematic, I don't want to consume that. Tell me something else.
Yeah, that's fair.
Jesus says, but I love Homestuck despite it sucking, and Jesus says, you know the trope about in movies, they have a gag where a baby pees on someone who picks someone up?
This is... One second, sorry. This is funny. I'm getting this cutscene for there being BTs around, but I completely skipped the BTs, so... I don't even know why they bothered giving me the cutscene. I completely skipped them. Funny. Yeah, sorry, continue.
That is really interesting, Judith. I don't know if I've ever noticed that, but it's also not a trope I see that often anymore. And Pepper says, I have a lot of emotional attachment to Homestuck, but that doesn't mean necessarily it's good. And Dog2 says, I'm with you on Homestuck. It's too big for me to get into. Yeah, I think it's too big, and if the first thing people tell me about after they say it's important to me is that you need a slur filter, you've lost me.
It's interesting. So, like, there's some people who make podcasts that I like, and they have this one podcast called Homestuck Made This World. That's just them going through Homestuck and like giving it an academic reading, and it's very interesting. And that's the closest that I want to get to actually consuming Homestuck myself. Like, I have no intention to actually read it, but having some critical people like going through it and talking about the good and the bad is interesting to me.
Like, one of the things that also, like, baffles me about Homestuck, and there's a certain Tumblr user who generally has good opinions but lashes out about random things, and one of the things she lashes about is people disliking Homestuck. I've seen that before. I've also seen the certain Tumblr user who said, I can't believe someone told me Homestuck was racist as I was doing the Homestuck racism workshop.
I genuinely feel that was unfair, that the way people talked about that, because she was saying that, like, The specific thing she was responding to was the idea that Homestuck fans ignore racism, and she was like, "No, we talk about it."
No, I know. I know that she shouldn't have gotten nearly the backlash she did, but that sentence was wild. There's a million better ways to say that sentence, and I don't think she deserves the backlash. I will not name her because of that. I really don't think that was fair to her, even a little bit. I think it was entirely transmisogyny. I also thought it was wild that she said it the way she said it.
Yeah.
And Pepper says, Pepper says, I've tried to get back into it, but I can't. Haha, it's very formative for me. Yeah, no, that's fair. I know people who've tried getting back into it and failed. And Judy says that's not the only time she's acted like that about Homestuck. Yeah, no, I've seen it, and it's like I really don't think she deserves the hatred she gets. I think that she deserves better, and like, but like the like on the day of my Homestuck racism workshop is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I heard Godfather. Like I was like, this is ridiculous. I really do not. I think most of what happened was transmisogyny. I don't want to downplay that. I really don't want to downplay that. But it was so funny to me. Outside of the context of the horrors that came after, I think that it's really funny to say that. I don't know. Yeah. Homestuck is such a weird thing because people have such a huge attachment to it because it was just such a form. To me, it's kind of like the queer Harry Potter.
Just 1 second. I want to point out. So if you look at my energy meter right now, you'll see that there's a bit with like gray and black hatching. That means that our maximum stamina. Oh, welcome back, Nonbean. That means our maximum stamina has been decreased until we actually take a full rest again. I was trying to talk about that yesterday, but it didn't actually happen. So now that it has happened, I want to just point that out. Okay, sorry, continue.
Pepper says there's 3 characters that affected her. Yeah, that makes sense. The spider girl, the cat girl, and the trans femme egg. Yeah, that sounds like you, Pepper. Judith, you come to me in the day of my Homestuck racism. Yeah, no, that's quite literally how I felt about it. And yes, today is Monday, Joshua. But no, that's quite literally how I heard it. I was like, this is wild. I didn't say anything on Tumblr because no matter what I would have said, it would have immediately became a dog pile, and it immediately became a dog pile for lots of reasons. But oh, Judith, I'm so sorry the stream keeps freezing.
Yeah. Also, I missed the thing earlier, but hang on. Let me pull up the comment I saw. I wanted to make sure I didn't leave it behind. Dogtooth says, yeah, the game looks very interesting, and I like your in-depth explanation of things, and your voice is very soothing, so I'll stick around for as long as I can. Thank you so much, Dogtooth. That's really kind of you to say. Also, everyone thinks I have a soothing voice, and I'm very surprised to hear that, but I appreciate it.
Dogtooth, I missed your comment. I immediately skipped to the piss one about fragile. It's showing up now, but it wasn't there when I saw it. Yeah, the phenomenon of Judith says, yeah, the phenomenon of people dogging her is why I only get catty about her off to Tumblr and one-on-one with people, lol. And Pepper says, it's freezing. Is it freezing for anyone else? Because it's freezing for me too, but that could be on my end. I have it open, and I don't have the sound, but I have the visuals, and it's not freezing on my end. And I'm not in the same room, so I don't know if that's a connection issue for the people who it's freezing with or what, but
Pepper, if it gets bad, I might need your help to fix it if it's something that we can fix on our end.
yeah. But Judith, I feel that way about like random trans women I've come across on Tumblr or any other space that are like, I really don't like your opinions, but if I say anything about you, it's going to become a whole thing, so I'm not going to say anything. But I really don't like... I mean, like, you know, trans women are like any other person. There's good people, there's bad people. Like, it's not... But, like, it's the way that they get treated for being bad is, like... Or the suspicion of bad. Yeah. That is the problem. Like, I don't know. I just don't talk about it with names, and I don't talk about it publicly at all. Because it's just, especially coming from me as a Team Me person, it can cause so much harm.
And I really appreciate about you that you are conscious of those things. Yeah. That is one of the things that made you feel like safe to me in the first place.
Yeah. No, like, and like, it's not like I don't have beef with random trans femmes I know. It's just like, those beefs are personal and they should stay personal and they should not become public because the moment it becomes public, it'll be a problem. Like,
yeah.
No. When you know enough trans femmes, you're gonna have beef with someone. That's not a problem necessarily. It's what you do next.
Yep. I think that's completely fair and correct.
Assuming you've got your PCC in order.
There's also like you gotta think about things like, do I have beef with? I have beef with Jodi, says Pepper.
Fuck you, Pepper. Fuck you, Pepper. You don't have beef with me. I have beef with you. Fuck you.
Oh my god. Oh, Tashi.
Hi, Toshi. Welcome to the stream.
Tashi?
I think it's Toshi, but I could be wrong.
I'm also like bad at reading things in English because vowels are stupid in this language. But yeah, no, I also try to think about like, you know, do I dislike this person because I'm holding them to the higher standard because they're trans femme, or do I dislike this person because they're annoying? And do I think they are annoying because they're trans femme? Like, you got to think about these things. Sometimes the answer to all those questions is sometimes they just suck. And sometimes they don't. And like you need to reevaluate and you move on.
Toshi's pronounced like Yoshi. Now you're putting it in Manaus terms.
Yoshi, I love Yoshi. I collect Yoshis. I have like over 50 Yoshi items in my collection.
I think it's so cute that you have that collection. I love it.
Yeah. I have a teapot. I have oven mitts. I have an RC car. I have plushies. I have Legos, I have mugs, I have wallets, I have sunglasses, I have a lamp. I have a lot of things in the Yoshi collection.
You're so fucking adorable. God.
Thank you.
Stop it. It's not allowed. You can't be. You can't be adorable like that. It's not fair.
I know. It's I mean, you're also pretty adorable. I also really love Legos. I have a pretty large Lego collection, although most of it's in storage at this current point in time because we don't have room for it anymore. And yeah, I love Legos. I have my favorite Lego sets are the modular city sets, which are really big sets, really interesting, and lots of fun to build. But they take up a lot of space, and so we had to put them in storage. Audrey says I can have a room for my Legos when we own a house, which, you know, isn't completely out of the question for us because Audrey is a programmer, but isn't gonna be easy. A new T-Rex skeleton set, yeah, it's and they're expensive, the big sets. Right now, the only sets I have on display are the botanical sets. I have, let me look. I have the bonsai. I have the first set of flowers that came out. I have there's plum blossoms and I forget what the other one is, but it's the same group as the plum blossom one.
And like, I'm not sure if you know this about Judith, because I actually might not have possibly mentioned it to you. But Judith is a paleontologist, and that's why like it's so, that's why she's so interested. I think
very quickly. That was easy to deduce. I also have the Van Gogh set, the Starry Night.
Oh.
Starry Night is my favorite painting. When I saw it in person, I almost suffocated. Like I just stopped breathing and I almost passed out.
It's not my favorite painting anymore, but it used to be. And when I saw it in person, I had like the same reaction. It's so textured in person. It's so interesting.
And that's why I really like the Lego set. Pepper's like, Jodi, I want to get or make a really cool Spider-Girl mask. It could make me bring back the webcam redeem.
Oh, you should do that.
Ooh, Van Gogh Museum in Chicago. Van Gogh Room in Chicago. That's
Judith.
Awesome.
Judith, you are not luring another person to the Field Museum. Fuck you. You can't keep doing this. You cannot keep doing this, Judith.
I love museums. Yeah, Pepper, I know it costs money. I love art museums specifically. My favorite, like, non-famous art, though, is artist is Thomas Breves Marcus, who is local to the Arizona tribes. He does this really intricate line work that is just baffling. I would highly recommend anyone Google it. I'm gonna put it in the chat so people can Google. Oh, except something's not working with the chat. I don't know. Ooh, I do like there's a museum in Los Angeles where I am from called the Museum of African American Art. It's in Museum Way next to the Natural History Museum of LA and the California Science Center. And beautiful museum. Every exhibit I've ever seen there has been gorgeous and wonderful and incredible. I love it there. Really amazing exhibits. It's almost always a rotating exhibit, so there's never usually things that are consistently there. They also have a library specifically for people who are studying African American art. Really beautiful museum. If you're in LA, make your way to Museum Way. It's next to USC. There's also the Rose Garden right next to it. The Natural History Museum is there. The California Science Center is cool even if you're not a child, although it's geared for children, but there's a shuttle there that you can touch.
Ooh.
Well, you're not supposed to touch it, but you can look at it and it's really close. I'm
just gonna say, yesterday when we fought the mules or ran from the mules, I crossed the river. Today I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna show what it looks like from the other side of the river. Sorry, continue.
But yeah, really great museums. All three of them. They're also going to open the Air and Space Museum maybe eventually. It was open when I was very young, and that's what the shuttle was brought to California Science Center for, is to make the Air and Space Museum again, but build it around the shuttle. Which crazy, but it's something they were going to planning and do. I don't know if they have the funds for it anymore after the pandemic and now whatever is going on. But I hope they do. It's such a beautiful idea, and I love this Air and Space Museum. I think it was wonderful. It was closed for many years, so. Anyways.
You can see red lens flares off to the side of the screen. That means that there's enemies on that side who are chasing us.
Whoa.
It's a cool indicator, and you can see, like, when you actually look back, that that lens flares, like, it goes to, like, their eyes. Cool art design in this game, and that's a little bit of art that kind of goes back to MGS5 a little bit, sort of, but not really. Also, it's weird.
I don't know why, but I can't type in chat because I don't. Lord knows why, but
try refreshing it maybe.
No, I can't type anywhere. It's the keyboard.
Oh right,
again
you mentioned.
problem.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have no idea what's causing it, but I wanted to type the artist that I'm trying to get everyone to go Google because I think he's wonderful, but Thomas Breeze Marcus. Please Google that guy.
Oh, Judith, you're really tired because you got your blood drawn earlier. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I have to get I have to get a drug test soon because I'm trying to get on Vyvanse and they won't let me get on Vyvanse without a drug test. The person I was saying to Google was the person I put in chat, Thomas Breeze Marcus. That's his full name. Breeze is like his like native name, from what I understand.
So one reason I like coming to this side of the river, and usually you don't do that, is we talked last stream a little bit about how weird the landscape is and how it's like, oh, this is not what the east coast of the United States looks like, but like the timefall sped up like plate tectonics, I guess, or at least like the surface level aspects of like mountains and shit like that. And you come over here and it's just like, oh, this must have been an old road. Look at all these old cars. I think it's really cool looking.
Judith, if you end up looking up him, let me know what you think.
Yeah, I know, Judith. I know.
It's also like, I feel like the thing that would actually happen if time sped up is Appalachia would become flatter.
That's probably true.
I thought that was what was supposed to happen historically, but I don't know.
I mean, I think that is the trend that is happening, albeit, very slowly. Like, a lot of stuff in this game is like, they try to give it scientific explanations, and they don't actually make any sense, and you kind of just have to go with it because the aesthetics are cool. And honestly, they don't even say it's because of timefall in the game. That was my own guess. They just don't even bother explaining. It's because the Appalachians are so old, right? Like, that's why they're so much smaller now than, like, say the Rockies, for example.
Yeah, the Rockies are newer. The mountains in Palestine look very similar to the mountains in Arizona.
Interesting. How close is this BT? Oh, it's a baby BT. I didn't think we'd see one this early. But yeah, that is a thing. There are some baby ghosts in this game. Dogtooth asks, do your clothes regenerate, or do your clothes degrade too, or are they special? They don't degrade in gameplay. I think the implication is supposed to be that you're just changing them out like frequently, but they don't make you actually do it in gameplay. But yeah.
Himalayas are actually super young. India was a free-floating island until basically yesterday in geologic time. I've heard that before. It's really interesting, Judith. Don't know a ton about geology, honestly.
Okay. I might just have to ford this. I was trying to make a bridge, but I might just have to go for it. So you're fording a river and you're about to run out of stamina. You stop and your stamina starts regenerating.
Interesting. Okay.
So I think the director's cut changed up the difficulty modes because I'm playing on the same difficulty mode as yesterday, hard, but my stamina is way harder to manage now than it was yesterday.
There was also a very hard mode which we decided against
Yes.
because Jodi, sorry, your names are so similar that if I'm talking to both of you, it's so easy to mix up.
I know we're Judy and Jody. I know that was not on purpose.
But yeah, Jodi was like, I've never even played the hard mode until recently with the stream, so it's not really worth it to go to very hard.
Yeah, I might do that on my next playthrough, whenever that is. But it seems like that's just the director's cut thing, which is interesting. It's especially interesting that they added another harder mode when they also seem to have made hard harder.
It might be also easier in other ways, and they thought that the balance would be better this way. It might have been like a managing situation. Yeah, that sounds accurate. Judah said something about Jodi should change her name to Pepper, and then we would have more peppers.
Yes.
We could make a chili.
You need other things for chilies, Manal. I don't know how to tell you this.
I mean, sure, but like, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
We'll make salsa. We'll make salsa.
You also need other things for salsa.
Not
Who's
really.
gonna name themselves Onion?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I'll name
I
myself
can add a
Onion.
name.
I'll take one. I'll take one
I
for the
could add
team.
Onion.
Okay, fine. That works.
Oh, that's really interesting, Judith. You said stuff about bears. I actually really love bears. I love them so much that I frequently tell Audrey that if I see a bear in real life, I will hug it and then die. So sorry, but that's gonna happen. She says that's a bad idea, and then I'm like, no, thank you.
We actually saw a bear like a year ago in Pepperstown.
Whoa, we saw bears at a place called Bearizona.
Oh right, you mentioned that.
It's like a drive-through zoo, basically. And there's bears. Do I know about short-faced bears? I do not know about short-faced bears. I'm Googling that. A chili made of peppers. Quick, everyone change your name to Pepper. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, juicy garlic. I'm trying to remember what onion is in Arabic. I'll think about it.
Judith says they're giant extinct bears from the Americas with pug noses. That sounds fascinating.
Whoa.
look so hot.
Short.
Nothing to worry about. Its functions are temporarily suspended, but they can be restored. I can perform the necessary maintenance at a distribution center. Hurry though.
I think I've seen a diorama of this guy at a museum or something. No idea. I would have to... I've been to a lot of museums in my life. You would occasionally have to cancel recess due to bears? I'm from a big city. That's hilarious to me. I couldn't imagine that in a million years.
Compounds, and the body, in essence, begins to attack itself. It's called
Yeah, they found them in La Brea. So yeah, that makes sense because I've been to La Brea Tire Pits many times actually. Although I much prefer going to Lakma, which is right next door. So every time I'm in the area, I'm like, I'll just go to Lakma instead. Lakma is the LA County Museum of Art. A huge museum, one of the most massive museums I've ever seen. Really not a quick adventure to look through the Lakma. So there's always more to see.
Okay, we're very close to caught up to yesterday. This part on stream did not take very long. I was afraid that the journey would take longer.
Yeah. My sister got to go to La Brea and I didn't even, though she didn't even care. Yeah. You would enjoy La Brea more than me. I much prefer Lakma. It's like La Brea is like a tar pit. Like it's kind of. I'm so sorry, dude. You're gonna be mad at me. It's kind of boring.
I've been to La Brea, and I was granted I was a kid, but I was also like, yeah, this is a little boring. Like conceptually, it is cool, but when you actually go there, it's just mud.
It depends on what it is for a spider mask. Pepper, like, I guess it depends on how big it is, and
if it's covering your whole face, it might not. They might not.
It might be a good idea to get like a fabric, like, regular face mask and paint it spidery. Yeah, that's fair. I'm sorry, Pepper. I think that you might get some bigger looks than you get for transness in a grocery store based on my personal experience. Yeah, that's completely fair, Judith. Yeah, but like when you look at the tar pit and you don't understand paleontology, you see a pile of mud and you're like, why is that like that?
Oh my god, the director's cut made it so you can skip the cutscene where you like add them to the chiral network. That's incredible.
Incredible. We've quality of life improvements.
Quality
massive.
of life improvements. By the way, we are like when we catch up, I'm gonna stop like skipping dialogue.
Yeah, just let me know when you catch up so I can stop rambling. The mask is really cool, Pepper. I couldn't really look at it very closely because I can't open TikTok on my phone because I don't have the app and it won't let me open it otherwise. But
Also,
I saw the like thumbnail.
Also, now you had questions about BBs. We're about to get some information about them in this cutscene. I might just let the cutscene go.
Ooh. Oh, let's learn.
Judith says, liberal on Tumblr, you're a tar pit. Me, thank you.
You mean a source of preservation for everything that came before me?
Dead man, you there? Little help?
Aw, thank you, Dogtooth.
Okay, Sam. Remove the body connected to that incubator.
I think our on-stream dynamic together is good. I like that.
I'm a
like,
very talkative person. Any excuse to have me talking, I'll talk for a long time.
and like that works well because I tend to not talk too much, so we balance each other out well.
Good. A temporary excess of stress, easily addressed if we return it to its mother's womb.
The mother is still around?
Located in the capital Knot City ICU. Brain dead, of course.
You mean still mother?
Correct. A still mother's womb facilitates a connection between the world of the dead and the
The-
BB. And you, in turn, connect yourself to a BB, granting you the ability to sense BTs.
I can't fathom
These pods
the
were
fact that
designed
they're
to
gonna put the
simulate
baby back
conditions
in
inside a still mother's womb.
her. I hate
No,
that.
they're
actually,
they're
a
not
lot.
they're not literally doing that. They're making this simulate the conditions of her womb.
Function properly.
This
Okay.
incubator.
Okay.
However, we can only maintain this deception for so long, which is why we must periodically update the environmental data by synchronizing it with a still mother via the
I
network.
hate that.
It's so bad.
There.
update is in progress.
And like, I will say we're supposed to think that's really bad,
Still
but
a month
yes.
In capital Knot City and reconfiguring its settings based on the latest data.
We are using a brain-dead woman quite literally
Returning
as
the
an
BB to the womb
object.
in this
Yep.
manner will temporarily reduce its stress levels. That being where it technically belongs, of course.
Oh, that makes me want to throw up. I hate
Yeah,
that.
it's very bad. Like, for whatever it's worth, you're supposed to feel this is gross. Like, they're being blasé about it, and that's part of what makes it gross.
Oh, Pepper, those pictures are really
You should
pretty.
remember that BBs are just equipment. Try not to get attached. Each one has been physically removed from its steel mother's womb. A process that renders them unpredictable and prone to failure. No BB on record has remained in service for over a year. It may need to be retired before this expedition is over.
And then? You saying there's no way to keep my BB alive?
You must understand, there is still a great deal we don't know about BBs. As we expand the chiral network and recover more past data, perhaps we'll find our answers. Oh, right. You asked me to look into why the BTs might be reacting to your blood.
I think this is maybe where I tuned in before,
It sounds
Should
about
have
right.
your results soon.
but I just didn't understand anything that was happening.
Yeah, fair.
Anyway, get some rest. You and your BB are both exhausted. Good night, Sam.
Yeah, Pepper, those pictures are really pretty. I think if you lived in LA, this would be fine, but I don't know about where the general vibe of any of the area you live in. Why does he need to lock himself?
I don't know.
Doesn't seem necessary.
Like, I said yesterday on stream, I remember you asking this on stream yesterday, and I gave this answer. And this is the best answer I can give, but I think it's just like a matter of the symbolism. The symbolism has to be literal. He is like trapped in this situation, so he's trapping himself literally in this situation.
Yeah, Rule New England. Rule New England. Like, have you ever seen that Chris Fleming bit where he's like,
I am gonna skip this
they-
cutscene just because we saw it yesterday.
yeah. But have you ever seen that Chris Fleming bit where they were like,
Hello, Sam. This is
Boston's a neo-puritanical society. What's the neo part? A Matchbox 20 or something like that. That's how I feel about most of New England. I think that it's a neo-puritanical society. It's very different on the West Coast. It's a very different reality in the West Coast than it is the East Coast, and it makes me think so much about, because like race is another way that this is very interesting. Like my dad is much darker than my mom. My mom grew up very racialized despite being white passing in LA, and my dad grew up without as much racism because he lived in LA. If he lived in New York City, neo-puritanical, it's kind of a joke. But it's a little bit more than a joke. Puritanical society in New England is based on the Puritans, right? The Puritans are one of the first colonists, and Puritans are batshit. Like, the things they believed were,
If you dance, you'll go to hell. Level like that stuff.
and although Puritanism has mostly been kind of like, it's completely archaic at this point, a lot of those beliefs still permeate in New England society. Like, you ever noticed that in New England people don't like being happy in public? Smiling is something people will make fun of you for. That's weird. That's a very unique to New England thing. But I do remember like walking around places in New England and people are like, why do you look like that? Like, Like, it's something that's happened to me. It's very strange. I don't know how much it affects people who actually are from there. But I do know that like other people have said this about, I mean, like Chris Fleming has made the joke as well. That's where I get the joke from. Um and I do think that like, and even without the Puritanism, like the way that the East Coast was developed and founded was very tied within Christianity in general and Protestantism in general. And yeah, no, Pepper, that's so common. Like every time I've ever smiled in public to strangers in New England, and I'm vaguely, occasionally including New York in this, which no one else does. I'm so sorry, deal with it.
No, yeah, it's definitely true
But
about New York as well.
but it's also true about New York. Like people think that you're crazy. Like they'll be like, oh, like they'll be scared of you. Like genuinely, they'll be like, you look too happy. That's not okay. And that's a really puritanical based idea of like, you can't visibly show excitement. You can't visibly show happiness because that's like the vibes these days is more like it's based on, oh, well, if it makes you vulnerable, and vulnerability is a problem. But like the vulnerability, I don't think is the origin of it. I think that's a newest explanation for why you don't do this. But I do think that it probably has some origins in the way that Christianity functioned in the colonist societies. And like as you probably know, like the West Coast was colonized not first by the English, not first by any Protestants. And when Protestants did make their way to the West, it was significantly later, and they had become more liberal. So, even Boston is not great. Like Boston's better, but like if I don't know if you've ever been to the West Coast at all. If you've ever been to San Francisco and you compare it to Boston, it's night and day how different of
like,
a society those two places are.
I lived in Minneapolis for 5 years, and Minneapolis is, by the stats, the most segregated city in the country. And even so, Boston feels uniquely racist to me.
Yeah.
I'd advise you to use your ultra-deck to point you in the right direction. If you want to survey a wider
But yeah, no, it's so like that's why I said like about the picture, like if you were in LA, no one would look at you funny for that. That's like LA people, we're fucking weird. And we're weird publicly, and we're weird often. We're so weird. And like, this is like part of the Pepper says, I have friends who have to deal with parents who are so cruel with their Christianity here, it's ridiculous. Judah says, I think NYC still has the most segregated schools in the country. I think that's true. I think Minneapolis is the most segregated city, though.
Yeah.
LA's great. I love LA, but it's also like a very haphazard place. Everything kind of is just different, and it's built poorly, and it's a whole thing in its own right. But it's also very common like to see people at the grocery store wearing cosplay, not every day, but enough. It happens enough that people won't look at you funny. I do think it's weird that people will cosplay animes and then go to Little Tokyo. I think that's fucking weird. I think people need to stop doing that. But other than that, you're good. I've had to help so many people with my thing who live in that area of the U.S. I don't know what you mean, J-Hill. Do you know, Jodi?
I'm not sure.
Sam, high crystal deliveries are a little different from usual.
Kids? I'm a little confused, J-Hill. What's your thing? Oh, is it your job?
The J Hill has like taken some folks under their wing.
Oh, I understand. Okay, I was confused. Yeah, no, I've once worn like basically nothing at the grocery store and no one even looked at me. Like I was wearing a skirt that covered nothing and I was wearing a shirt that covered barely anything, and no one gave me a look. And and it's not just because like at the time, like, you know, I was very cis looking. I've seen trans girls who also have done this, like especially in the grocery store, because that's another thing about LA is you could do whatever you want and people will judge the hell out of you, but they won't judge you to your face. It's your life. Live your life. What are we gonna do? Stop you? So like, even in contexts where like you would be discriminated against if you were on a more like more one-on-one situation, it's less common on these more public situations because of the culture, I guess. And I'm not saying people like trans femmes don't experience trans misogyny on a day-to-day in LA. They do. It's just different. Like it's not in the same way. And this is true about racism too. Like I would not describe my upbringing in LA as without racism, but the racism was harder to understand. It's harder to identify. I understand, J Hill. Are you talking about people from New England though? Is that the place? Is that the area of U.S. you're talking about, or is it L.A.? I was just wanted to clarify. Yeah, I'm eventually gonna move back to LA because that's where my family is, and Audra's family is not very far from LA, and I love LA very, very dearly, despite all of its flaws. And I think it's my favorite city in the whole world, and I want to be home. But it's gonna be expensive. Gonna be bad. Gonna be bad. I looked up recently how much my parents spent on their house initially, and it was like, it's like 10 times less than what it costs now. Oh, okay, Jill, I understand. I understand the need for vagueness, and I apologize for clarification. I was like, it's a little bit hard to parse because also the delay also makes things so you're not saying things right as I'm saying something. So you might be responding to something specific I'm saying, but I don't actually know what I said that was specific. You know what I mean? Anyways. I appreciate the clarification is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Thank you, J Hill.
Are we running?
We're running now? Yeah. So we have this mission to get something back from the mules who live up there, and once we do that, we will be caught up.
Okay. Yeah. It's a whole different reality in the West Coast, and I would even argue, like, I think LA and San Francisco are better than Portland and Seattle. Personally, Portland and Seattle are so much whiter than LA and San Francisco, although San Francisco is getting whiter.
If this goes sideways,
I did see your last comment. Judah, is it about the Portland one?
Yeah. A Karen Haven is a good way to put it, Pepper.
That's a great way to describe most of New England in my experience. But yeah, like LA, even when you live in a suburb of LA, you never actually live in a suburb because LA is consumed so much land that the suburbs and the city aren't actually separate concepts anymore. I understand, J Hill. I can get how that happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dogtooth, LA is okay. That's fair. You could say LA is okay. It's not a great place if you don't like it. Like, and it is mostly mid for most people, but I love it.
I mean, it's not a great place if you don't like it. It could be said about literally anywhere. Like, yeah, if you don't like it, you probably don't like it. Yeah, that's true.
But, like, it's also like there's a lot of like qualities to LA that are very like bog standard mid behavior for a city. Like the public transportation's absolute dog shit, just terrible. And it's terrible because of the car lobby, actually, specifically. Which is, the car lobby basically was like, LA County, stop making trains. And they're like, okay. And they closed trains and they didn't build anything else. And so every city in LA County was like, we'll build our own transit. And now there's like 40 different transit systems in LA County. And they overlap broadly in lots of ways. There were no black people in all the schools you went to until high school. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
I knew 2 white people until I was in college. Yeah, that's fair, Dogtooth. Rent is terrible in LA. Right, housing price is just awful. But yeah, Pepper, it was really weird when I went to college because I'd grown up in such a diverse neighborhood that I really didn't know very many white people, although there's more in my neighborhood now. It's become pretty gentrified because there's a high school in the school district now, and so it's become a good place to buy a house. Anyways. But when I was a kid, I didn't know any white people except this girl named Sarah who sucked. And I knew like half white people, like I knew biracial people. But it was really uncommon for me to know. Oh, why are you doing that? What you like attacked a guy?
Yeah.
What happened? I missed it for a second.
I was binding a mule so I could steal the shit back that they stole.
Oh, but I thought they were also bridges people.
Nope, those were mules. The people who are like the writing on them is weird because it's like, oh, they got addicted to delivering, so now they steal things to deliver them to themselves. Like,
Okay.
it's bizarre. I don't know why the writing is like that for them.
That's horrifying, J Hill. I hate that.
Yeah, God.
I'm so sorry for your brother. I hope he's doing well. That's awful. Yeah, no, I didn't know any white people until college, and I went to a pretty white college. It's one of the whitest public universities in California, and also one of the wealthiest. And it was bad. I hated it. In Phoenix, it's also a really bad metropolitan area to be not white in because it's a very white city. It's a very white metropolitan area. Don't know why. I barely know any people of color here. It makes me extremely distressed very frequently, actually. That's good, J-Hill. I'm glad that things got better, but it still sucks. But you know, I'm frequently very distressed by how white the environments I'm in since college have been, because like I'm not used to it, and the way you talk to white people and the way you talk to non-white people does matter when you're not white.
Yeah.
I know Pepper, you used to live in Phoenix. We should talk more about that one day, but not on stream because I don't want to have details about this place at all. Because I don't want the possibility of being triangulated or something. I don't even live in Phoenix, to be honest with you. Like, it's just a huge metropolitan area. But you know, it's just They also didn't even rationalize that my brothers were black. They kept insisting that they were just white people with a tan. That's wild.
What the fuck?
That's wild, J Hill. That's crazy to me. I'm someone who tans pretty dark, and I remember being a kid in my family, not my parents, but lots of extended family telling me I couldn't go outside in the summer. So shit sucks. What's my ethnicity? I'm Palestinian. It's a great time to be Palestinian in this world. I say sarcastically.
Now we got cults of cargo chasing crazies who get off on hijacking shipments. Jackal's always on the lookout for the next porter. Make sure.
Luckily, I at least don't have to deal with the citizenship issues other people do because I'm from here, but you assume Mexican. That's pretty funny and pretty, honestly, not even like completely a wrong-headed guess considering I'm from LA, and honestly, I also have like accents in my voice that are similar to like accents you get from speaking Spanish because of the way LA accent is developed by primarily Spanish speakers. So I don't mind that guess at all. Also, when I was a kid, people always thought I was Mexican. Like, I was around Mexicans, and Mexicans would think I was Mexican. It was really common for me. And also, when I was a kid, my parents told me not to tell people I was Palestinian. So I usually went with the fact that maybe I was Latina. I'm not. Also, a lot of Latinx, Latin, whatever word you want to use, people do have Arab, like, ethnic origins. It's actually really, really common in the Latin world. And so
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, El Pastor is Lebanese.
Oh wow.
And like really like the current president of El Salvador is ethnically Palestinian. He sucks. We don't like him, but he is. I think we're still catching up. Are we still catching up?
We actually have one more thing to do that I forgot about. We have to build that bridge, and then we will be caught up.
But yeah. Yeah, and Arabic had a huge influence in Spanish, although that first started with what is commonly known as the Moorish period. I don't really love that term, but I don't really have a better one.
This mission right here, cargo discovered in the ruined factory. That I know for a fact was added in the director's cut, so that's new to me. We might do that after we do the bridge.
The linguistic influence, I think, started prior to the Moorish period, but it's heavily was mostly from the Moorish period. And then there's also the linguistic influence due to how many Arabs ended up in the Latin world. Yeah, Dog Tooth. I mean, it's great to see another person of color in chat. You know, like there's not a lot of people in the chat, so it's not. I don't know who's a person of color, who's not, and I don't ask because I think it's weird to be like, hey, am I the only brown person here? But I appreciate that there's another brown person here. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, Sam.
But no, I love Mexican folks. I grew up around a ton of Mexican folks, and we have a lot of things culturally in common, I think.
Access it to submit additional materials.
J Hill's just British. That sucks.
Oh no, J Hill. I'm gonna have to ban you now. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that.
It's been like French and Dutch and some other shit. It's kind of funny to me.
For the bit, I should actually time J Hill out for a minute, but I'm not gonna do it. Just imagine I did it though. It would have been funny.
Yeah, J Hill laugh anyways. Never been. Yeah, no, that's how usually it's. I mean, like I've been to Palestine, but I've only been once. Hi, Audrey. Audrey is home. Random Levantine Arab food I really miss from the Syrian bakery in my neighborhood growing up is... Imagine? I have to look that up. I don't know what that is, honestly. I'm gonna look it up. Because it might be a different name that we call it in my dialect. Oh, manaish. And that's actually the dish that you're talking about is a specific kind of manaish that is actually not Arab. It's Armenian. So you should look for an Armenian place. You'll find it in an Armenian place though, for sure. I'm so sure, dude. Yes, because you gotta understand how many Armenian people ended up in the Levant. Like the version that's in the Levant is just Armenian. And that's why it's not that's why I was so confused by the word, is that lahmajin is like a weird way to say lahma, which means meat. And jin is not an ending in Arabic really. It's an ending in Armenian. I actually really like it though. But you can also like look for manaish places. You might find them there. Also kind of common. Manaish is, I can spell it in the chat so that you can have it. Manaish.
All right, we are caught up now. Let's check out this mission I've never seen before. I'm very curious about it.
Let's start.
Collection: cargo discovered in the ruined factory. Maser gun recommended. Right. Oh, I don't have a maser gun yet. I know I know the maser is another thing that was added in the director's cut. Let's listen.
Come back to that.
Yeah, probably. Let's listen to the briefing right now, at least.
Yeah.
Oh, I pressed the wrong button.
The Audrey Dutcher typing is me. By the way, sorry.
Did you see the ridge to the east of the distro center? Well, up top is an old decommissioned factory. Abandoned, we thought, until we spotted mules making themselves at home among the ruins. We need to know what they're up to, but getting inside won't be easy. Fortunately, a few days ago, we observed them taking cargo out of the facility and prepping it for transport. If we can secure that cargo for analysis, we might gain some insight into their plans. And that's where you come in. The cargo is situated near the factory entrance. All you have to do is grab it and bring it back to the distro center. As always, stealth would be our preferred approach, but you'd best be ready to fight if they catch you. Make sure you're well prepared before you head out.
All right, I am definitely going to wait until I have a ranged weapon. Doesn't have to be the mazer, but I'm going to come back probably with the bola gun and do that. Let's do the actual next main plot mission.
Is it cold right now?
You've done a fine job expanding the Cairo network. But to make the most of it, we'll need to generate more power. We'll have to make a few hops before we can link up the closest city too. Once this wind farm is part of the Cairo network, we'll be able to route the energy it generates through the beach. Unlike traditional transmission methods, nothing is lost. We can provide power to distant regions and utilize facilities there as electrical substations. You're to deliver a key component. Should be finished printing. Take it to the wind farm and get us in business.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Pepper. It's up on screen right now, but I might as well say it. Pepper says, yeah, I've actually been quite happy with how diverse our community is. I always find it a red flag when someone's audience is all white, all cis, all abled, etc. Yeah, 100%. And like I've always appreciated how global our audience is too, like specifically.
Yeah, it's nice. But yeah, Judith, if you ever want to talk about Arabic food or anything adjacent to Arabic food, I also have Armenian cousins, which is how I knew what that dish was off the top of my head. I would adore that. I write papers on Arabic food. I love it so much. Yeah, that's completely fair, Pepper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've written papers on like community cookbooks in the Arab American community, and I'm working on a paper right now on Palestinian American identity formation through food.
Ooh, that's fascinating. I know you've told me that, but still, every time you say it, like, oh, yeah. That sounds like it's gonna be a fascinating topic.
I've done 5 interviews so far. I think that's as far as I'm gonna get on interviews. But because it's only a 20-page paper.
5 interviews for a 20-page paper sounds like a lot, actually.
Ooh. It is kind of a lot. I could have done less, but I just kept getting more interviews, and I was like, I'll take them. If I can fit them in, I will.
That's fair. And like, even if you don't end up using them in the paper, I think it's good to have done them.
My professor also, sorry for the drinking noises, that's probably gross.
No, you're fine. I didn't hear anything, at least.
But a part of it is, oh gosh. That my professors mentioned that we could probably use this on like different articles or even our dissertation for in future, but so I was like, I'll take more interviews because who knows what I'm gonna do with it. God, I gladly will. The sad thing is I'm allergic to all nuts, so lots of foods are off limits. A example, most stuff dates I've seen. That's fair. Oh, sip, dog tooth, I'll sip my Chucky milk.
It hasn't been redeemed yet. Now it's been redeemed. There we go.
Okay, I'll take a second sip of my Chucky milk.
Thank you for the sweets. Yummy, so tasty. I'm gonna take a sip too.
God.
Of Pepper's soda.
There's a corgi on my straw. Audrey got me a curly straw with a corgi on it. Okay, anyways.
Yes, Pepper.
I say 7 seconds wait.
What did
So-
Pepper say?
Pepper just reacted to the fact I'm drinking her soda. You're allergic to tahini? Oh, that sucks.
I hate tahini though. I think it's disgusting.
I love tahini.
I like tahini really only as a vehicle for the foods I already like that aren't tahini like that aren't just tahini. And I mostly eat like hummus. I didn't like hummus until I was an adult.
Pepper doesn't like hummus, and I don't understand why or how.
I didn't like hummus until I was an adult, and then I was an adult and I was extremely homesick, and so I started making it. But you could technically eat hummus if you just replace the tahini. You can make it yourself. It's not hard to make.
Oh,
I think it probably won't taste the same though.
This is a weird thing in the game. I've never had to use this before, but in some places you find these flowers growing that you can use as makeshift boots. I have never ever had to use them, but that's a thing you can do, I guess, if you really want to.
I like how they're shoe print leaves. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, there's quite a few foods you probably can't eat with the no tahini thing. I'm guessing you're allergic to sesame. The texture being too chunky is because someone made it wrong. That actually has nothing to do with tahini. We can do a stream where I teach everyone how to make hummus. Like that is something I can just do on stream.
I
can just
would
have
love
Audrey
that.
Videotape.
I would love that, especially because I've really struggled where we live finding hummus that isn't like Sabra. So I would love that.
I mean, if you want to, I could do that like very, very easily. It's a very quick recipe. There's like I could post the recipe in the chat. You're also allergic to chickpeas. So there's no way around it. Like you just can't. Hummus means chickpeas, by the way. There's no way.
Well, Judith, you're also allergic to mustard, and that doesn't stop you from eating Cuban sandwiches. So.
Yeah, that's fair. You could try mtebel, or well, it's often known in the States as baba ganoush, but mtebel is actually kind of different. It's the version I grew up with. Yeah, I can definitely like. I think the best substitute I could think of is maybe like something like, I don't know. I just a guess, just a thought. And I don't know if maybe you just don't replace the tahini and you move on with your life, or you do replace the tahini and have something different. But maybe sunflower butter would work.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, you're allergic to most seeds. Okay, you're allergic to a lot of things. And it made it hard to breathe. Okay, then that's a problem. You're allergic to it.
Oh, I didn't realize. I know you didn't like it yesterday. I didn't realize that it made it hard for you to breathe. I'm so sorry. I thought you were just overstimulated. We were at like a thing for my dad's birthday yesterday that had live music.
Yeah, no, yeah, sunflower seeds too. Yeah, that makes sense, Judith. That makes sense, Pepper. I get that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pepper.
I could teach some basic Palestinian recipes on a video one of these days.
I would love that. Also, you and I were gonna like remotely make a Palestinian dish together, and then we never ended up doing that.
Yeah, we were supposed to do that. And then things got busy, and then you got work, and then it was kind of snowballed.
We're gonna do it someday. I promise you. I really want to do it
while you're visiting.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I was thinking about making one of the meals that we do, something we cook, either a couple people or maybe everyone does a little bit of something. We're probably going to rent an Airbnb or something like that. We'll talk about it later. But the point is we can cook together.
Okay, that sounds like
Oils
fun.
derives from seeds is part of the shells that set off my allergy. Ah, interesting. Is it normal for hummus to make it hard to breathe? Yeah, no, you're allergic. You're just allergic.
Yeah,
Don't eat it again.
Now we know. I wonder if it's the chickpeas or whatever, but we're not going to test that ourselves. We'll get you an allergy test at some point.
Probably the sesame, because sesame is a much more common allergy.
That makes sense.
But don't eat anything with sesame going forward, is my guess. And if you want to, maybe eat a little bit and monitor, and maybe get an EpiPen.
You've also disliked it in the past when I've made things with sesame oil. Now I know to just not do that. Okay. Like I don't think it gave you an allergic reaction, but you didn't like it at least.
If it upset your stomach, that could also be an allergic reaction. So if you were like, "Oh, it just hurt my stomach," that could still be an allergy. But I could probably what's an easy allergies are really bad at tasting for rare allergies. You don't have to ready. So, yeah, that's true. I have mast cell activation syndrome, so I'm actually not allergic to anything literally, but I'm allergic to almost everything in practice.
Hey, Dick Touchdown, what do you mean by that?
Oh, I didn't see that message.
Anyway, this delivery is a pain in the ass. Going down on this side of the hill is difficult, and then there's BTs at the bottom.
But yeah, Judith, for me, I didn't know I was allergic to anything because all of my allergy tests always come back normal. And I was having these allergic reactions since I was a kid. And no one knew what the hell was going on with me. And then recently, I have also Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is very comorbid with mast cell activation syndrome. And I was seeing my EDS doctor, and I was like, "Yeah, I throw up all the time, but this is what the doctors think it is." And he was like, "You might have mast cell." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "It was like having it still in the spoon, but hovering." And yes, that could still be an allergy.
Yes, absolutely. Also, Manal, do you currently have live chat active or top chat?
I have Pop chat. Oh, I meant to put live chat. I didn't even notice that was a setting. It's pronounced Philistine. You know I'm from there, right? I could say Philistine if you want me to. It's also not Philistine, it's Philistine. But like, the P comes from the Englishization of Philistine, which comes from the Arabization of Philistine. That's just how words work, bro. Like, deal with it. I'm speaking English, I'm gonna say it in English.
So the cargo on my back is starting to be damaged. The cargo or the container is. So I'm about to use container repair spray, which is a thing we just unlocked at the previous mission.
Do I live in Palestine? Do I live in Palestine? No, but I am from there.
Looks like you've got an empty container there, huh? Feel free to submit junk like that to Bridges. You might not have a use for it, but we do.
Oh, that's interesting. So Palestine. So the origins go past Philistine.
That's
I only
interesting.
know up to Philistine because I don't really do ancient history. It seems like that's more your bag, Judith. Ancient history doesn't interest me personally, because it's so hard to substantiate anything. But that's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
It's interesting too because it's like it's very obvious when you speak Arabic that Philistine is not Arab in origin because it's too many consonants. It's too large of a root. Yeah, I love history, J Hill too. Like I'm not into ancient history, but archaeology is definitely really the right field if you like ancient history. I once took a religious studies course that was ancient Near East literature. That was really interesting. But I also shouldn't have been allowed to take that course because I didn't know anything about religious studies and it was upper division and it required some understandings that I didn't have. But my professor can read Sumer.
Oh, that's cool. I know Judith can read ancient Greek.
Yeah, touch on Arabic words don't tend to go past. Well, like they can go past 7 letters really easily if you add all the like root the modifiers, because words can be so much longer and they hold so much more information in Arabic. But the roots are usually no more than 3 or 4 letters. Yeah, the Palisat were a group who migrated to Levant during the Bronze Age collapse around the same time Canaanites groups were starting to form confederations in the region.
Keep it cool.
J Hill just said I really went into the wrong career path. Yeah. The Palisat, that's really interesting. I always think about how like Palestinians like I call myself an Arab, and I think I am an Arab, and I think we're all, you know, like anyone who calls themselves an Arab is an Arab, but like ethnically, I don't think that I'm actually probably related to anyone in like the Arabian Peninsula. I think like if anywhere, I'm from the Levant. And like if I go back far enough in my history, if I could go back far enough in my history, I probably was like, my family is probably like early Jewish people or early Canaanites, whatever. Regardless, it doesn't actually matter. We are the people who ended up there. But there's a lot of BTs.
A lot of BTs, yeah. Last stream I said outside the incinerator was the most BTs they ever have you actually sneak past at one time. I was wrong. I forgot there's a lot here too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting period, Judith says, because we have very few records. Most of the culture. Yeah, no. In like the farthest my family can go in our own like histories is we have a legend about Saladin, which is like 1,000 years. Most families do not have a legend that goes back 1,000 years.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's still like I can't go back to before the Arab conquest of the Levant. I don't know what we were before that. But I do know that we fought along Saladin against the Crusaders, and he thought we were great.
You're clear of BG territory. The Death Stranding's to blame for all of this.
Saladin in the legend actually renamed my family's town.
Everything. It warped the world beyond recognition. Humanity had to scramble like rats fleeing a sinking ship. But there's nowhere else to go. There's no future living like this. If we're to survive, we need to find another way. A way to overcome the BTs, the Death Stranding, the whole damn mess. Cargo verified.
Touch on the Arabs, like, the Arabs is a hard concept because, like, what it means politically and what it would mean if, like, we could trace ethnicity are different. Because the Arab originally, at least in, like, if you go back, like, 2,000 years ago, or you go back to the start of the Muslim Empire, Arab usually used to only refer to those who were from the Arabian Peninsula. The rest of us weren't Arabs at the time, and we didn't speak Arabic either. I don't know what they did speak. I'm not Muslim. I don't know what they did speak, but they didn't speak Arabic. I don't know enough about the ancient history to be clear about a lot of that, but they became it's a process that's mostly known historically as being Arabicized. The culture became Arab, not necessarily through, like, it wasn't settler colonialism in that they replaced us with Arabs. It's instead a like, we became Arab through culture changes. Extensive history of pagans in the Levant, mainly in Syria. I know the farthest you can go back for my family is we were Christians since at least the time of Constantine, but we had been Christians probably since Jesus was in our town. Also, Arab used to mostly refer to what we call now Bedouins, or Badawi in Arabic.
That I didn't know. That's interesting.
Almost everyone in the Arabian Peninsula were nomads. That's how they all lived, including, I think, the Prophet. Although I'm really bad with Islamic history. Please don't ask me questions about it. But no, like, the most Arabs were what we call now the Bedouins. The rest of us were different. That's really funny, Judith. Yeah, Arabs as considered white, at least from the U.S. standpoint, is actually entirely rooted in Islamophobia. The reason why is the first. Wait for the.
I heard the rest of your team was wiped out. Makes what you're doing all the more incredible. You're a one-man expedition. I hope Amelie's doing as well as you. Wonder if she made it to Edgenot City yet. It was her that put us in charge of the wind farm. I was with the group bringing up the rear while Amelie led the way. I've never met her in person, but it was an honor to travel with her all the same. When you see her, feel free to tell her I said so, huh?
Sam, got a moment? I ran an experiment with your blood. It seems you were onto something. After dispersing an aerosolized sample of your blood in BT territory, we observed reduced activity. While this is hardly definitive, as we have no other repatriates to whom we can turn for additional testing, it does suggest that the bodily fluids of repatriates are repellent to BTs. Mama had the idea of developing a weapon.
Hey, Manal, are you there?
The prototype should be ready soon.
I'm just waiting for the cutscene because it seems important.
Fair.
Sam, this is the perfect
At least some of the times it's important, sometimes it's nonsense.
Yeah.
on the chiral that's left is Port Knot City. Return to Capital Knot City so you can pick up relief supplies for Port Knot. By the time you arrive, we can give you the completed prototype in person. One other thing. It's not very often porters get out to that wind farm. While you're there, you should pick up any outstanding orders. No sense coming all the way back here empty-handed if there's work to be done. Have a look at that delivery terminal.
Easy for you to say. No reason to come back empty-handed. Fuck you.
But yeah, so...
Oh, sorry, 1 second. So now we have a thing called standard orders, which are basically like non-plot related, and often they'll just like replenish. Like you'll get the same ones over and over again if you keep going to the same place.
If you're already heading a certain way and you have room to spare, it couldn't hurt to do a little more, right? Just because they're not mission critical doesn't mean they're not important to someone. So why not do a good deed?
So now that we finally unlock standard orders, we might start just doing a bunch of those to like grind our reputation in this map. Anyway, sorry, you can continue.
Touchdown. I don't know what word you use. I use Islamophobic because that's the word generally used. It means bigotry towards Islam, towards Muslims. But the reason why we're white in the U.S. context, at least on census records, although I would argue that we are not white in most material ways, is in the late 1800s, early 1900s, I can't remember exactly when, a bunch of Christian Syrians came to this country and were like, listen, U.S. government, we're not like those filthy, horrible Muslims, so we're white, basically, right? And the U.S. government was like, yeah, absolutely. And that's why we're white. That's the full story, quite literally. Pretty terrible. In the Arab world, race, it does matter. It matters in different ways. But I wouldn't say that nobody cares about race there. It's a different situation. So what are you doing now?
So now we were told to go back to Capital Knot City to get some things that we need to go all the way to Port Knot City, which is the western edge of this map. But we're like, oh, while you're going there, you might as well like pick up some orders that are going that way anyway. So we're going to do that. Which means that we're going to have not very much plot for a little bit, so we can talk about a lot of stuff.
Okay. Give me a second. I'm just checking my phone.
There is going to be not plot, but something very important when we actually get back to the distribution center. So that's going to be cool.
How long is that away?
That's not too long, but like when we get there, we can just kind of like stop talking and then start talking again when it's done. It's not that big. It's not that like big of a thing.
Touchdown, you could just look it up, but like the reason why we're white in the U.S. Judith, I would like to tell you that in a private chat, because we're from a small enough denomination that it doesn't make sense, and it's very very specifically my family is this thing. But I will text you. But yeah, touchdown. It's just something that happened. Like they basically went to the Supreme Court, up to the Supreme Court, and they were like, because this at the time it was very common for different people to argue that they were Caucasian in court cases because it mattered so much. This is not abnormal to Arabs, and this happened with other groups too. We're one of the few that won though, and it's kind of harmed us ever since, because being white on a census record, you would think, doesn't actually affect the Arab community very
Sorry,
much.
1 second. We have a package here for Luden's fan. This is very important. Sorry, continue.
Oh, so you're Arab. Okay. Now you're less suspicious to me because of that. I'm so sorry. But no, like yeah, like people don't really generally think of us as white. I mean, there's some of us who are white passing, I would argue. And like it depends. Like if you're a hijabi Arab and you're white passing, it doesn't actually matter that you're white passing. Like, it really is contextualized by a lot of things. I don't know, both of my parents experienced a lot of racism growing up, but in different ways because of how they were seen. I wasn't sure. People are weird. You can't blame me, touchdown. I don't know who you are.
So this is one of the few areas in the game where this comes into effect, actually. There's very intense wind when you actually get on top of this ridge, and if you have a lot piled on your backpack, it'll actually start to push you.
There we go.
John Bin London is one of my favorite videos in the whole world.
I don't think I've seen that
You
one.
gotta understand it. I will send it to you. I think it's amazing. You gotta also understand that, like, at least in some of us get offended. Touchdown. I'm gonna tell you, like, it's not a we're not a monolith. I would argue there's a lot of us. But yeah, no, John, like, at least in Islam and largely in the Arab understanding of the world in general, we don't really think of people as completely separate from the idea of being Arab. You can kind of become Arab a little bit. Like, you can't say you're Arab and but it's considered very, like, important if you marry into an Arab family to adopt a lot of Arab behaviors, cultures, practices, no matter what religion you're from, because, like, that's very important to us, and, like, it's something that we will functionally, like, strive for in most settings. But it's not like the John Bin London is a good example of this. Judith is right. Yeah, being Arab is a very interesting phenomena, because, like, there are Arabs who don't want to be Arabs and they'll call themselves shit like Phoenician. I hate that. I hate anyone who calls himself Phoenician. I just oof. But you know, the funniest part to me is the fact that they call him John Bin London, and if you know anything about Arabic, it literally means John from London, and he's not even from London. He's so funny. The music's really pretty.
It is. I always love any moment where they just kind of let the music come in while you're walking.
Yeah. Arab history is a very, very interesting history, and it's really, like, yeah, Jews, you understand exactly what I mean. Lebanese people will call themselves Phoenician, and the immediate urge is to punch them in the face. I'm like, oof, oof, oof. You are not my friend. You are not my ally in this fight. That is what I heard from that. Yeah, like Arabs in different countries just have different personalities, different opinions, different vibes, because it's different cultures, you know? Like, when you're a minority culture and a majority one that's very different, you absorb some of those things. Oh, Jay Hill, do you want any explanations? Can you answer any questions? If that would be helpful? Yeah, Judith, it is.
Yeah.
And I think part of it, at least from the Lebanese context, is, like, some of them are awful, and some of them are, like, kind of trying to protect themselves in ways that are pretty bad. Like, it's similar to how Palestinians say they're Canaanites. It's like, I get it, but this is pure cope. Like, this is not actually reality. Please don't call yourself that. You could do it if you want. I'm not gonna stop you. But, like, we're not Canaanites. What is Phoenician? Phoenician.
Wait, Manal, I just want to say, Manal, I love having you on my streams.
Thanks,
Thank
Pepper
you.
Paysan.
And
Judith
thank you
can
for
probably-
liking the stream, Pepper.
Yay. Judith can probably explain Phoenician a little bit better than me because Judith seems to know more ancient history than I do of the region. But Phoenicia was like an empire. I don't really fully understand, but it was a very long time ago. It's not accurate for any current. Do you get any bad rumors about
And I think-
Arabs? I'm curious. I get so many bad rumors about Arabs. I'm not going to talk about that though. Sorry.
Like, one of the few things I know about the Phoenicians is I'm pretty sure their alphabet is one of the roots of the English alphabet, I think.
I think so. Interesting. That's really fascinating, Judith.
Safe travels.
I'm like really thinking about the Canaan as part of Phoenicia thing, because I don't really know much about ancient history. My favorite thing about ancient history though is the sea peoples. I
Yes.
think they're weird. I don't know what they are. No one's ever explained to me the sea peoples, but I assume they came from the sea.
That seems like a safe bet.
But yeah, Phoenician, it's kind of like have you ever heard like Italians call themselves Roman though, J-Hill? It's that kind of like harkening back to a better time, to a better identity, kind of behavior. The sea people is just a concept that comes up in ancient literature of like the sea people as like a group that came to the land and does stuff. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. It depends on the story. But like we don't really fundamentally know who the sea people were. We have some guesses. Yeah. Yeah. That's a much better explanation, Judah. Thank you for that.
Ooh, that's fascinating.
But yeah, generally it shows up in a lot of ancient Near East literature because of even if it was like not in the same time period as the literature is being written that the sea peoples came, it became such a big motif that it just kind of kept getting talked about.
Good morning, Sam.
Yes, that's my understanding of it as well, Judith. I wonder so frequently how much of my family, like, if I know DNA tests, ethnicity, DNA tests are not real. I know that fundamentally the science is just completely bunk, but I wonder so frequently.
Hang on,
how
sorry,
much
just 1 second.
Huh?
We see these two messages that we got that are yellow with a lambda sign. These are part of the director's cut. Before the director's cut, these were specifically on the PC version, which I was playing on the PS4 before. This is there's some Half-Life crossovers, so that's what these are probably. So let's see. Lambda, how about taking a break in a private room? You've been working hard, Sam. Your porter grade ought to go through the roof if you keep this up. I wonder though how your BB's doing. Even if you're feeling fine, it might be a good idea to give the guy a little break from time to time. I don't know. Can't help but empathize with the BBs, I guess. Maybe because I'd be one too if my last name began with a B, if you know what I mean. Because his name is Benjamin, I guess. I know that's supposed to be a sweat emoji, but I just look at it and I think, come, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, head down to one of those underground facilities, private rooms I mean, and take a load off. That's my advice. Your BB will thank you for it. See you around, Sam. I don't know what this has to do with Half-Life. Test order,
It's
Lambda.
been interesting that Yora Bridges and the Bridge Baby also has Bridge in his name though.
Yeah. Test order, Lambda. I want you to look for some lost cargo. You're doing very well, Sam Bridges. I guess I should expect nothing less from the Great Deliverer, though. Yeah, I've heard the stories. Rumor has it you're a big Half-Life fan. This is not the direction I was expecting it to go. I was expecting it to not be like a thing where Half-Life exists in universe. Once we were united, but now we've been scattered all over. But that's why we've got to keep working, right? Anyway, listen, I've got a favor to ask. I want you to find some lost cargo for me. You know the river to the north of the distribution center west of Capital Knot City? Just follow it northeast to the center and you should find what you're looking for. It's a cube, so it ought to be easy to spot. You've probably never seen anything like it before, so I wouldn't really blame you for being leery, but it's not dangerous. It's really, really important to me. Important as life itself. If you manage to find the cube, it would be great if you could take it to the distribution center. I'll chuck a bunch of likes your way in exchange. Oh, whoops. Of course, plus a little something extra, too. You're the only one who can help, Sam. I'm counting on you. All right, this seems like the DLC thing, so... Follow the river northeast from the center, and we should find a cube. All right. Sorry, continue now. Now that I know what we're doing.
But what was I saying? I was talking about. I don't remember. But yes, Judith, tell me more about the sea peoples. I know nothing about them. I would love to know more about them. They're really hard to Google because of the whole way ancient nearest literature is used as a fascistic tool. Anyways.
Safe travels. Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey. Safe travels.
Hey, Sam. You could probably get that bike running again if you charged it with a generator. Why not give it a try?
Right, I should do that. I'm going to have a bike in a second. But I want to do this Half-Life thing first. I really appreciate the way this stream has gone. I think that my streams on my own are good. I like the way that I like feeling like I can just stop talking sometimes. But it's also nice that when I'm stopped talking, someone else is filling the gaps. I like having all these interesting conversations.
Yeah.
Like, really, you're doing a lot of the work here, Manal. Probably more than me.
I love to talk. You can get me to talk basically ever. I will talk no matter what the situation. This is an Arab thing, though. Maybe Touchdown can understand this. Arabs are talkative people. So there are other places. So Judah says some more. There are other places in the Mediterranean world that might be named after constituent groups from the sea people, namely Sicily. Sicily corresponds to Shkelish, and Sardinia corresponds to Sardinish. That's really interesting.
That is really interesting.
I wonder, the thing I was talking about is, like, I know DNA tests aren't real. I know they're fake. I know they're bunk science. But I wish I could know where my family's, like, history was, if I could trace that like, map. Like, are we Canaanites? Are we, were we Jewish? Like, what was the story there? I don't know. And I won't ever know. That's not something we get to know in this world. But, it's still something I wish I could.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Yeah, that's completely fair, Judith. Like, it's really hard. That's the problem with ancient history. It's the reason why I don't like doing ancient history. Is so much of it is, like, we can guess a couple things. And with those guesses aren't based on nothing. They're good guesses, but we don't have any other information. Like, it's not even just like we don't have like provable information. It's that there is just nothing. Like, there's large swaths of history that we have maybe.
I went the wrong direction. He said go northeast. Oh no.
No.
I should have looked at the map first. Sorry, you can continue.
Yeah, but like, I'm just sending a text because one of my professor friends at my university is helping me try to figure out what to do about a friend whose neighbors got taken by ice. So,
oh jeez, yeah.
She sent me a text, so I'm just very glad and trying to respond quickly so that I can get the information quickly.
Absolutely, take that time. Also, hi
but,
Kerbals, welcome to the stream.
What's their name?
We call them Kerbals. Spido K Vegni in chat. That's Kerbals.
Kerbals. Okay. Are you okay with me calling you Kerbals too? I don't know you very well. Maybe that's a personal nickname.
Kerbals is in Team V Spire with Pepper.
Oh. I just find that's Manal.
Yeah, this is Manal, my girlfriend. My other girlfriend besides Pepper and Judith.
Judith says, I just find the Bronze Age collapse so fascinating because it was the first time societies with interdependent layered infrastructure had ever occurred, and suddenly everything west of Isfahan fell. Yeah, that's completely fair. I know so little about the Bronze Age personally, and part of that is also just like the kind of history that you can get invested in changes depending on the kind of positionality you have, right? Like, The reason I got invested in history is that I was an anti-Zionist organizer, and I started taking classes about the things that I needed to talk about as an anti-Zionist organizer. And so that's been the history I've always focused on, although right now I'm focusing on Arab Americans more broadly. Arab American history is also extremely modern, obviously, but also extremely tied up in what happened in Palestine in the last 200 years. And I do say 200 for a reason, because it's although the state of Israel is only about 70 years old, something 80. I don't know. I'm bad
like
at math.
78, I think.
The processes that led to the state of Israel are more like 200 years ago, but it mostly begins around 1850 through the Ottoman land code. But regardless of all of that, that's the history that I focus on the most, because, well, it's the history that's most relevant both to my life in literal sense, but also to my organizing and to my political goals.
Oh my god, I just found what we're looking for, the Valve crossover. Lost Cargo Companion Cube.
Whoa.
Of course.
What does the Lost Cargo Companion Cube mean? Does it have any interesting things before, like, you add it, or will we get cutscenes once we... Oh, I guess you've never done it.
I have never done it before. But, like, you know what that's a reference to. But have you played Portal?
I have played a little bit of Portal.
Ah.
I've never finished it.
I see.
We could play it on stream if you want.
That could be fun. Yeah, we should do that. Oh no, it's extra large, and I'm already near the cargo limit. Uh-oh.
Whoa. And should we go back and drop things off?
Nope, I'm gonna do the stupid thing and try to carry it with me right now.
That seems like not a great idea.
It's not a great idea.
Yeah. And Judith, I want to be clear, like, I don't mean that it's wrong for you to know ancient history or for people to study it, but, like, it's just a different positionality that leads to what kind of histories matter the most to our lives.
That's an interesting point.
I don't know how you're gonna carry that. You got, like, so much shit on you.
Oh, you have no idea.
Like that guy with the cargo pants.
Look at it.
And the laptop.
Look at it. I can carry. The tower on your back can go very high, especially once we get like the pieces of the exoskeleton that increase the weight we can carry. We can just carry like ridiculous amounts.
Yeah, Pepper, I could play Portal on stream. I worry about Portal as like an initial game for. I have to think about it, because like I worry that it's a lot of thinking at the point in the game I'm stuck on. But maybe like having it on stream would also be people can give me hints.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that would be helpful.
And Portal 1 is also like a pretty short game. So Portal 2 is much longer, but Portal 1, like, depending on how fast you are, like, could be a one-stream game even.
Kerbals, that's a really funny autocorrect.
Yeah.
My pronouns are anything but it. The things I prefer the most, although I do not care that much, she, he, they, and per. But I will take anything. You could practice pronouns on me, just don't call me it.
There was a thing we discussed about that. Do you want to do that or not?
Sure.
So Manal was talking about on stream possibly not using she as much. So if people want to use he, they, and per more.
Yeah. That would be nice. Pepper's right. That's not cube size.
No, the companion cube is like up to like waist height, I feel. But this is the biggest like cargo container you can get.
What do you mean there's people in the cubes?
What? Who said that? Oh, right. Dumb portal theory. Right. I know the dumb portal theory you're referencing.
I don't like that. Why would there be people in cubes? I don't like that.
Because dumb fan theories. Let me first show these memory chips.
I'm waiting for the cutscene, so I'm gonna be quiet for now.
So first, I've been picking up a bunch of memory chips, and I figured I should probably actually turn those in at some point.
I just about given up on this. I owe you one.
Well, would you look at this? Thank you so much, Sam.
J-Hill, I don't think you can hear them scream. I think GLaDOS just says you can hear them scream.
What I did to deserve such kindness.
Okay.
Thank you for your contribution.
And now...
Did we deliver it?
No,
Not yet?
now
Okay,
we're delivering it. And the icon was...
The heart?
Yeah, the icon was like the cube with the heart.
Yeah.
Okay, GLaDOS isn't just shaped like a woman tied up in a bag as like a fun Portal theory. That is literally true. She is shaped like a woman who is tied up, and that makes sense given what happens in Portal 2.
Oh
Given
my
what we
God.
find out about her backstory. And also because GLaDOS is a lesbian, and yes.
Yeah, I did see the clips of GLaDOS being really mean,
Yeah.
and as a lesbian, or maybe lesbian adjacent. Let's say lesbian. As a lesbian, I'm gonna say that shit was wild.
Yeah, it was. It was. I was a fan.
Pepper, everyone's horny for GLaDOS. You act like that's a surprising fact.
Is that supposed to be Gordon Freeman's glasses? Gordon glasses. All right, fine.
Oh my god. I don't know who Gordon Freeman is, but that's pretty funny to
He's
me.
the main character of
It's really
Half-Life.
dumb. I don't think you've heard my GLaDOS voice. That's probably true, Judith. I don't think I've ever heard your voice at all. Actually.
Anyway, did you like those special glasses I gave you? Gordon glasses, I call them, as worn by one of my world's preeminent scientific geniuses. I reckon they do a good job of bringing out your natural tough guy looks. I have to put them on, don't I? It's required.
Yeah. I think Norman Reed in the fucking little glasses is gonna make him look real dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
Or maybe like let me see it, and then I'll make a claim.
Oh no, he's a nerd.
Yeah, he is.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, no.
He looks real dumb.
Pepper, I think Half-Life is canon to Death Stranding in a different way than you might mean, because one of the people in one of the messages earlier was like, "Oh, I heard you like Half-Life, right?" So I think that it's just a game that exists in this world, not like the events happened.
I think he looks a little gay.
A little bit. You know what? You're not wrong. Nerd will read this. I'm going to keep those on for a bit.
Okay.
All right. We need our PCC for a reason. Yabba my icing. That's right, Kerbals. I wonder if anyone else in chat knows what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Do you want to explain?
Nah, that's okay.
Okay. I was talking to Jodi earlier. I don't know if it was in stream. I think it was before stream, actually. I think that you could easily make a case for Sam being trans femme.
Oh yeah. Also, I just want to listen to this briefing real quick.
For this retrieval order, you will be hunting down a book. An old school printed on paper book, the kind that predates the Death Stranding. Even before the world went to shit, most were published in digital formats only. It's rare to find one intact these days. Apparently, this particular book was the work of researchers who may have anticipated the Death Stranding. It was en route to Hartman when it was taken. Mules, according to Waystation staff, in case you hadn't guessed. The book's no different from any other cargo to them. But to us, it's priceless. Get it back, ASAP.
So yeah, Yabba my icing. In Half-Life 2, the headcrab zombies will yell things that don't make sense, and one of them sounds a lot like they're saying Yabba my icing. So it's just kind of a thing.
Wild. Trans Am. That's pretty funny, Kerbals. But my theory was based on the fact that most of Sam's identity seems to be wrapped up in being forced to be a person he does not want to be.
Yeah, I definitely see it. And like I said at the time, Kojima has many of those characters. But like,
it's also like the handprints and the way that like being touched harms him.
Yeah,
does kind of remind me a lot of the way that trans femmes talk about intimacy.
Yeah.
And like, you know, usually they get to a point where that doesn't become harmful anymore. But like, it is really common to be an egg and be harmed by intimacy. Like,
100%. I didn't drop anything, right? Okay. So we are making a stop on, or we're making 2 stops on the way where we're going, which is why I'm loaded up as much as I am. We can finally make a generator, which means we can charge up that bike outside, which means we can finally put some cargo on that bike and save ourselves, like, a lot of trouble.
Safe travels.
Let's charge up this bike.
Weapons restriction.
Terrible.
Yeah,
That's really funny.
that is really funny.
No, Pepper, I'm so much like that too. Like I really do crave intimacy. I actually really like go back and forth on thinking of myself as Ace because I can't tell if I'm actually not interested in like that kind of intimacy or if I am just so afraid of it because it has been so traumatic for so many different parts of my life.
Yeah.
Construction complete.
All right, so bikes, or reverse trikes as they call them, really useful for the reasons you would expect, but also they have cargo racks in the back. Let's open up that cargo menu. Let's see. We're going to keep the things for Luden's fan on our back because we're going there next. But all of this shit can go on the bike.
But yeah, Pepper, I don't know. Like Grace doesn't really feel right and feel accurate for the experiences I have. It's less than and like there's just like I don't really know what the contours of asexuality really are. Yeah, I noticed that about Lily. The fact that Lily opened up so easily to me was very interesting. You know, she's great. I worry about her sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, Judith, let Lily know that I'm thinking about her, okay? Because I have been thinking about her. Are there no BTs here? There's usually BTs here. I'll take it.
Oh.
Hi, Puddle. Welcome to the stream.
Hi, is it Lily? Is that what the L is supposed to, or I'm guessing that's an L.
Hi, Lily. Welcome. It's
I hope
been a
you're doing
bit.
well.
I hope you're doing well, too.
Jepper. Yeah, Kerbals, I'm thinking about Jepper, too. That shit's hilarious.
I hate to say it, but I've got a high priority request. While this has nothing to do with our network expansion operations, it's still a major cause for concern. You can pick up the order via the terminal at Capital Knot's Western Distro Center. Let's save the detailed briefing until then.
I think what he's referencing is the mission that I haven't taken yet. That's that was added by the director's cut, the old factory thing.
Mm-hmm. You missed me, Lily. You barely know me. That makes me feel very happy that you remember that you thought of me so fondly to miss me.
Yeah.
Beginning scan. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until...
Yeah, Pepper, I feel you. Like, before I was dating anyone, when I was just dating Audrey, I actually think, like, dating more people actually made me a better partner for Audrey because of the ways that it, like, healed some of the intimacy problems.
Sorry to interrupt for 1 second, but this is very important. We're about to see Jeff Keighley in-game.
Okay, wait. I understand, Lily.
It's Jeff Keighley.
That's a relief.
Anyway, it's really great to hear from you, Lily. I'm just really glad that you're hanging out, and yeah. Think about you a good deal. You don't talk to people a lot. Most people scare you. Yeah, that's fair.
About time I hopped on the whole chiral network bandwagon, am I right? Join the UCA and all that. You can help me do that, yeah?
I'm glad that you don't feel scared by me, Lily.
Yeah.
I imagine you don't if you miss me. But even if you did, that would also be okay. Pepper, maybe we should talk one-on-one about that, because I've been there before. I really have. Like, I completely understand that position. And I know
Hate for this to be the last time we meet.
I know how hard it can be to navigate.
I'm gonna need a
And I,
moment to look over what you
kind of
brought.
accidentally figured out a way for myself, but it might be something worth talking about together.
Hey, I'm hoping maybe you can help me out again. Don't want to be weird, but I feel you and I might have like a connection.
It's very funny that they have Jeff Keighley deliver lines like that, when a lot of people's perception of Jeff Keighley's relationship with Kojima is very much like that, of him just trying to be like, him being very devoted to Kojima and Kojima not fully knowing who he is.
Mm-hmm. Pepper, in my experience, the best place for me to do this is to, like, if I'm using a dating app, to really only look for friends initially and just be friends with people. And like with Jodi, I literally just messaged Jodi like Happy
Tumblr.
New Year's randomly one day and was like, hey, you're cool. I hope you're doing well. The trans misogyny on Tumblr is getting terrifying.
Yeah.
I hope that's cool.
And like
Oh,
that
Courtney
meant
kept in contact.
that meant so much to me also, because like no other TME people I knew had like reached out to me about anything related to trans misogyny ever.
Yeah. Judy's less shy than me, but she's also worse at telling people what she's actually feeling. That's really common for like main fronters. Kind of how they end up becoming main fronters. I don't remember what the specific system term that people generally use. I try to stay out of system discourse and system spaces because I find them actually kind of awful for me personally, even though I am also a system. Me and Jodi have talked about it a little bit, but so I don't know the correct terminology. So correct me if I am wrong, Lily. I'm happy to talk about system stuff with you because I don't feel the same kind of like, yeah, you understand. Another option, Pepper, is to like, is there any community spaces? Like, is there anywhere that you can go and just hang out? Yeah, no, system community sucks.
We are doing combat for the first time, by the way.
Ooh, combat.
We are going to want to use our strand. Nope, which I did not do right. Whatever, I'm just going to punch him. And now that we have something in our hands, we can just bop him with it. Oh, theoretically.
Okay.
Bop him. Bop him.
One, Judith, if it's comforting at all, it is worth saying that, like, I think if you think you're a system, even if you're pretending to be a system, you're a system regardless. And if you're the quote unquote, if you're not really a system, it will usually go away with time. Like, and if it hasn't,
then that's maybe indicative, yeah.
Yeah.
I have thought about being a system too. I know I've talked about this on stream as well. Like, I feel like I am, but I don't actually, I don't know, it's very confusing. And I've decided not to, like, force it.
We can talk more about it too, and I can also explain more to people in chat if they're confused. But like, I don't really think anyone fakes it, and if you do, it's gonna go away with time. And honestly, like, even if you were temporarily a system, I still think that counts. Like,
yeah.
I don't think maybe you should be like, oh well, as a system right now, like, sure, but like, in the same way that, like, I think that phases of queerness are still as valid as the things you end up being at the end of your life. Like, the way those things aren't like wrong choices, they were right for a moment, and maybe they're not right anymore. But that doesn't mean they're wrong completely.
Yeah, absolutely. People have too much of a fixation in general on, like, longevity and not as much on, like, what is happening in this moment. And there are times where it's just like what you're experiencing in the moment, even if it isn't long lasting, is very important. and people shouldn't dismiss that. Anyway, this is what hand-to-hand combat is like in this game. It's not that deep. I feel like they have damaged my deliveries probably. I don't know if I know how to do that yet. That's the thing I added in the director's cut.
I see you've decided if you're not there, you should help.
Make sure you bring more maca next time.
Okay, let me actually check if anything got damaged. A little bit of damage. Miraculously, not actually that bad. Normally, if I'm going to have to fight mules, I'd go into their territory without packages because then I can sneak up on them, but I couldn't do that in this instance. See you in the burb, J Hill. Okay, we're not going to bother picking up any of the rest of that. We're just going to take the specific thing we need. Oh, but we have to go back there anyway, don't we? Oh, that's annoying.
Judith, you probably are a system. Like,
yeah. Like, Judith, you are. You 100% are. I'm very confident in saying that.
I understand why you feel this way, and I feel this way too, like, especially as a small system, and I think you are too, if I remember correctly. So much of system spaces and DID and so on and so forth spaces are taken... Oh, I don't have anything to sip. Audrey,
I'll take a sip.
Please.
Thank you for the sweets. Yummy, so tasty. I'm going to take a sip.
There's only 3 of us, too, in my system, and, like, you look at people who have, like, hundreds, and you're like, I'm nothing like that. And maybe you are nothing like that. Doesn't mean you're not in the same vein of modality, you know? And maybe the spaces should make more concentrated efforts to include people like
Go
us.
Ippy. Go Ippy.
That was Audrey.
Hi, Audrey.
She can't hear, but you were told hi.
I heard whoa.
And, yes. But yeah, you see systems that are like hundreds of people, or maybe even like 30 people, and you're like, wow, there's only 3 of us. That can't be anything like that. And that's like, maybe it's not like that. That doesn't mean it's not a system. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And I think part of the reason why system as a concept is so gate-kept and fraught is because we have decided that only those who are like a lot of people are the real quote-unquote systems, and that's not accurate. I also think defining who's a real system by like who is diagnosed with DID is stupid.
Absolutely.
Anything, yeah, like, and it's also like I don't think systems necessarily are disordered. I don't think they're necessarily a problem. Like, I have friends who are polyfrag systems. For those who don't know, polyfrag means that they are extremely fragmented. There's many of them. They've only recently got down to 30, and even then there's a lot of amnesia problems and memory problems, and they've gotten up over 100 on multiple occasions, and like that's definitely really hard to live through, and to some extent is disordered, but there is a way to live like that. There is ways to manage it in the same way that like polyamory can present as a really disordered ways of maintaining relationships, but it's not always that way, or even often that way. It just like anything, when you add more people, both internally or externally, things get more complicated.
Yeah. And also, just as far as the diagnosis thing goes, the other part of that is that like I don't feel like we need to like validate like psychiatry any more than we absolutely have to. Also.
I also think that, like, to some extent, yeah, I generally share memories too, and like for me, like, I'm the, what do they call the people who's at front all the time, Andre? I don't remember. Whoever's the first, like the main fronter. I'm the main fronter, And even when someone else is at front, I'm still around. I just am not in control. I can still see everything. I am the holder of all the things. I don't go away. But I don't really have separate, like, they're more median identities is usually the way that people talk about it in system spaces. But they aren't really separate, but they're also not really the same. Like, and like the reason for me, like, Judith, you talk about how you've had a couple realizations that helps push you to realize it more. But like, for me, the thing that was like the thing that I could not argue against anymore was like Mimi, who's like one of me. I wouldn't say she's a child, but she's also not a child. Also, any pronouns work for them. It's just she's usually what I default to because Mimi is from childhood for me, and that was what everyone called me. It doesn't actually matter though, regardless. But one of the reasons I was like I can't ignore this is that Mimi talks very differently. Like, it's very, very, very obvious to anyone who has met her.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to pretend like you're not having a personality shift when everything about your behavior changes.
And Judith, like, I can say from experience, all three of you speak very differently. Like, it's very noticeable.
Yeah. And like, I'm so sure that's true. Yeah, like Jodi says you all three speak different, but I'm so sure it's true. Because even in small ways, you probably speak differently. Hi, Zach.
Hi, Zach. Welcome to the stream.
Puddle says, in a way, you become an NPC and are aware of what the player's doing. That might be a crude... Yeah, kinda. No, Puddle, you're understanding. It's kind of also like the difference between playing a game and watching a cutscene.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Like, I'm not always playing the game, or maybe not even watching a cutscene, playing a game and watching someone else play. Maybe I'm not always the one who's playing the game, but I'm always watching the game. You know, like, I'm not going away. The game is still playing. I'm just not in control of it. And I could take back control. I've taken back control mid-sentence before. It's not hard for me. For me, it's not. For some people, it is. But, like... And I can't not appear if the thing we're talking about what if brain but gamer. I can't not appear if the thing we're talking about is like this. Like, Mimi can't have these conversations, at least not as far as I'm aware.
Exactly like I remember it.
Not because Mimi's not smart, but Mimi doesn't want to. Mimi doesn't like being intellectual, and that's part of the reason why Mimi exists at all, is that I've used intellectuality as a way of being valued or being cared for or being important to the people around me. But I'm
fucking
not
mood. Fuck.
I'm not inherently intellectual, right? Like, so the parts of me that aren't like this can't be here. I don't know how to not be like this. Because this is the way I've learned keeps me safe, keeps me alive, keeps me loved, keeps me cared for. And maybe that's not fully true anymore, but it's what I've learned. And Mimi, like, yeah, Lily and Mimi are very similar. Like, Mimi, like, really basically all Mimi does is make Audrey do things for them and ask for things. And like be like really annoying. Mimi is extremely annoying because that's what I was when I was a child. And Mimi's not a child. For me, some people have child system members. Mimi's not a child for me. But like Mimi's very childish because I'm not allowed to be childish. I never was allowed to be childish, but Mimi can be.
That makes a lot of sense. And you say you were annoying as a child, but I mean, you were a child. I feel like that's...
I mean, yeah. Sure, but I was proud of being annoying.
Oh, got you. I was kind of similar.
I also was like kind of I didn't really functionally understand the harm I caused, and I don't do that anymore. But like one of my earliest memories, although I have many very young memories, is hitting my brother with a broomstick. He was bothering me. Don't recommend doing that, but he was bothering me, and I was trying to think of the most annoying and the most mean thing I could do to make sure that he understood that bothering me sucked. Dogtooth, you're a very intellectual person. I think I am, and I think it's very important to me. I also worry sometimes that I think that if I'm not intellectual, that I will not be loved and we won't be worthy. So that's a problem I have, though. Puddle says, I don't think I could deal with having alters. I do not like blacking out and people telling me things I don't remember. People don't always black out. Like, for me, I don't. Some people do, some people don't. I would hate being blacking out too, and it's part of the reason why I never disappear, is like relinquishing control is just impossible for me to do. At all. Jesus, Lily straight up might be a kid, unclear. She definitely doesn't want to be grown up. Mimi, the reason why Mimi specifically chooses not to call himself a kid is because being a kid has been so dangerous for us. And so, like, I think for them it's largely a place of, if I relinquish my autonomy as an adult, will I be forced to lose more than I want? You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
You were close to that last night, Kerbals. I hope you're okay. Dogtooth, don't be too hard on yourself. Yeah, I try not to be, but like, you know, I'm a pretty badly traumatized person, and like, I can acknowledge cognitively, and I can work through these feelings, and I have been for a long time now. But like, it's really hard to, yeah, I'm so sorry, Puddle. That's really hard. But yeah, it's really hard to not be hard on yourself when you've been taught like the ways that you survive is by being hard on yourself and holding yourself to a higher standard. Kerbals had a fun gummy. Whoa, I hope you had a good time. I hope it wasn't bad.
Like, I know my first experience with it wasn't very good, but now I love it. I hope that, like, if it wasn't a good experience, I hope that you, yeah.
We could skip to a different topic.
Yeah, we don't have to keep.
Oh, are you tagging out in terms of, like, tagging out of Lily? Either is fine. Whatever is more comfortable for you.
No, Judith, I do not blame you. I do not blame you, okay? I want you to know that.
Audrey can't use weed because every iteration that she has tried has caused her massive psychosis. Yeah. For me, I can't use weed because I'm on a drug that you're not supposed to. Hi, Bionicle Guy.
Hi, Bionicle
You're not
Guy.
supposed to do it, but I don't know how dangerous it actually is, but I can't figure out the answer, but I was told you're not supposed to do it, so I'm just going to take that advice and run with it.
See you,
Bye,
Dogtooth. Well, thank you for coming back to the stream. Hope to see you again.
How much longer do you want to stream? Because right now it's 10 o'clock.
It is 10 o'clock. You are right. I think maybe once we get back to Capital Knot City, which will be soon, we should stop.
Okay.
Also, you folks might have noticed I was having to pick up cargo that was drifting down the river, and it was extremely annoying.
Yeah, you seem to have a lot of cargo.
Yeah.
Is that how the game has usually?
Yeah.
So much
like,
cargo?
So much of the game is like trying to optimize your deliveries to the degree you can. So that means, oh, for this leg, I'm going to have like just the most cargo possible, and it's going to be really annoying, but then I'm going to get so many social media likes. So
I also wonder, Judith, if it's a problem of, like, there's a lot of people here, and we're talking very quickly because there's so many people here.
That's also
There's a lot of conversation moving very, very quickly. So I wonder if it would be safer for Lily to talk more one-on-one, or maybe with just me and Jodi around.
Yeah.
That might be something worth trying, if that's something that's interesting to you or important to you. But, like, I think it makes sense for her to get overwhelmed by Jodi just running into the same rock is really funny. I think it makes sense that she was overwhelmed by what was going on.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons.
Is this where we're going to finish the
No.
display? Okay.
No, we're going to the city closest to here, which is like just one more stop over.
Okay.
And then we'll stop.
Did you hear, Puddle, about the helicopter that went to Mars? There's a Veritasium video on it that's very good. Her name was Ginny.
Thank you, Sam. Holy shit. You sure you're broad enough?
Yeah, go watch the Veritasium video, Judith. It's very good. Do you know who Veritasium is? Should I type it in chat?
Might be a good idea just for good measure.
One of my favorite YouTube educators. Let me look it up just to make sure I get the name right.
Safe travels.
Good work. New order available.
You don't like Derek? That's his name, right? I don't actually know his name. Why don't you like Derek? Did he do something? Should I stop watching his things? Joja.
No, I'm not the corporation from Stardew Valley. Don't do this to me.
I think that makes sense for the sponsors thing. I think that like a lot of unfortunate situations is that like most of these, especially science educators, really need the sponsorships because even when they get millions of views, which I'm pretty sure Veritasium is usually getting millions of views, there's so much like people involved in their creation of this kind of media, and so I try to like kind of forgive it a little bit because like as it stands, doing that kind of work is so fucking expensive, and YouTube does not pay well. I haven't seen that one, so but you can avoid the channel if you want, but you can look up Ginny, the Mars helicopter.
Is that like Ginny?
Her full name is Ingenuity.
Oh, I see.
They call her Ginny.
I see.
Judith, I haven't seen that video, so I don't know if I don't know how I feel about it, but I don't really watch a lot of his videos. I watched the Amelia Earhart one recently, and I wanted to cry. I was so upset. Not because of his video. Like, Amelia Earhart was an idol of mine when I was very young, and it was always like, if you've ever seen that Bob's Burgers episode on Amelia Earhart, that is very similar to how it was nice meeting you too, Kerbals.
Not nice meeting you. Nice seeing you, Kerbals.
Yeah, Minaj is something I've been called before, in real life. I've also been called Milan, which I don't really get. I guess that person had dyslexia. But yeah,
You like Sam's yelling? Was that what that was?
I was that, but also Kerbals being like Nicki Minaj. I thought that was funny. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I'm sure, Judith. My name gets mispronounced all the time. It's very funny to me because it's not even that hard to pronounce. But yeah, his Amelia Earhart video was very nice, very, very well researched, but it was also very sad because it was largely like I had thought that Amelia Earhart died as a result of just like she was doing something real hard and there was no chance it was ever going to work. But no, she died because a bunch of people made stupid mistakes, including her. And that made me really sad. And I feel really strongly about Amelia Earhart because like when I was researching Amelia Earhart when I was in 6th grade instead of the 4th grade that Louise is in the show, I had a very similar come to. I've had a very similar like problem with the end of Amelia's life where she dies. Like in the show, Louise is really upset because she's researching Amelia Earhart because she wants to do. The show never explicitly describes what's happening as a feminist episode, and it never loudly hints at it. Although it kind of does, but like at the very beginning of the episode, she's trying to choose. Jay Hill's back.
Welcome back, Jay Hill. We're going to be ending the stream very soon.
Yeah, but she's trying to choose a person to do a project on. She chooses Amelia Earhart, and there's a guy in her class who's like, "Oh, why would you choose Amelia Earhart? She failed." And then he starts listing, and you don't. It's not said, but he starts like it's obvious when you think about it. It's just listing all male people, like, you know, doing these really amazing things, and like Neil Armstrong and so on and so forth, and and Louise is reading a book about Amelia Earhart and gets to the end and finds out she dies, and she's so mad. She's so mad because she wants her hero to do something. And there's all these other male heroes who've done something, and look at her, she failed. And Louise is angry and upset and frustrated, and she's like, I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to deal with the fact that she failed. I'm so mad that she failed. And the like conclusion of the episode, and it was a really powerful episode for me because I had the same experience researching Amelia Earhart. Conclusion of the episode is Linda, Louise's mom, says to her, like, you know what I bet Amelia Earhart's mother never said to her? And Louise asks what? And she's like, act like a lady. And Linda basically says, like, you know, I think that all a hero needs to be is someone who makes you think bigger about yourself. And Amelia Earhart did do that for so many girls. And you got to know that, like, even if she failed, like, the rest of the people who stayed, they thought bigger of themselves because of it. The rest of these girls, they thought bigger of themselves because she tried, even if she failed. And it's a beautiful episode, and it's really well done, and it has really wonderful animation, and I really love that episode. And it's such a powerful, like, I genuinely think the Amelia Earhart episode is a better feminist representation than the Barbie movie.
I mean, that's not hard.
Yeah. But like like the idea that like Linda's perspective is like, and like something that Linda says is also like, you know, when they say like, sometimes people say like girls can do anything boys can do, and sometimes when they say it, like, it makes you feel like the opposite.
Yeah.
I love Bob's Burgers. If you're going to ever watch Bob's Burgers, Judith, in its entirety other than this episode, I will warn you, there is transmisogyny in one episode. They do get better. They get better by a lot. But if you ever watching the show in its entirety, I will tell you which episode it is. It's called, but the episode that I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure it's just called Amelia. I never saw Time Warp Trio, so I'm not sure what that is.
That sounds familiar, but I can't remember what it is. Time Warp Trio.
But anyways, like, yeah, it is a very failed feminism. I also think the fact that she, like, gets a vagina at the end is kind of weird.
Yeah, and, like, God, like, don't even get me started on that part. It makes me very angry. And I think about how, like, I was talking to my mom about it, and I was like, oh, the way they demonstrate that she's a real woman is that she's at a gynecologist. So, like, she's a real woman because she has a vagina. My mom just looked at me, like, blankly for, like, 30 seconds, and then she went, oh. And it's like, God, like, cis people, even ones who know more than average about trans people, just don't think about this shit.
Yeah. And I feel like you could have made a better, like, you could make a case of, like, she goes to the fucking, like, doctor to like, see any other organ. Because, like, all of those would also be evidence of her humanity.
Yeah.
But regardless, the Amelia episode from Bob's Burgers. Beautiful, 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 beautiful episode. And I really like that show in general because it does make a very active effort to do good. And like, no show is perfect, and capitalism and consumerism of media is never going to save us, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to just talk about this for a second. Like
Go.
we've talked about like how how Sam just gets railroaded and how corporate Bridges is. We just got this Bridges hat, and Die Hardman's like, wear it with pride. We only give that to the very best, and it's just
my God.
it makes my skin crawl. I hate it. Oh my God. Ugh.
I don't really like the Barbie movie.
Me neither.
Like, as a concept of like feminism. I had fun watching it. It was funny in some ways. But like it was also not like a feminist masterpiece. The Amelia episode of Bob's Burgers, though, I would argue is a feminist masterpiece. But anyways, but what I was gonna say was just like I do think that, like, for adult animation, Bob's Burgers does make a very big effort to do okay. Like recently, somewhat recently, I think it was last season. They had a reoccurring background character who never really had many lines, really, but she's a black trans woman. She was played by a cis white guy for a while, and then they recasted her as a black trans woman from a black trans woman actor, and then they had an episode where she was a big fixture in it, which is like the first time that had ever happened. And like there's a lot of nuance to the way she's presented that implies to me that the actress had like a say in the writer's room because of the way that she's presented. And also like she does say like this was a great experience for me, so like I assume that means that like they treated her well. And she's just really cool. Like
we have poop grenades. Sorry, we have poop grenades now. We're gonna throw grenades of our poop.
I hate that.
We could also have pee grenades.
That's really interesting, Judith. I will look into that.
Should suffice. Glad to see everything's in good working order. The latest in our line of EX grenades. I give you the number 2.
I hate
As
that.
you may have surmised, this model was produced with various extracts refined from your fecal matter. We suspect that your regular consumption of cryptobiotes has led you to excrete certain compounds that may prove especially effective against BTs. If you would like us to produce more, you need only furnish us with the requisite raw materials via your private room's toilet. I look forward to your feedback.
Kojima, huh?
Yeah. But yeah,
we also have pea grenades.
oh my God, Edward Said, are you seeing this shit moments? That's so sad. I've never seen Samurai Jack. Even when I was a kid, even when it was on TV, I always ignored it because I didn't like it. I didn't have a reason I didn't like it. I just didn't.
The number 1. So named because it contains a vaporized extract.
I don't really think that I care about this dialogue. Is it okay if I talk over?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I think it's the same thing, but P this time.
It is. It is in fact the same thing, but P this time.
Make it more effective against BTs. Whenever you avail yourself of your
But yeah, Judith, there is lots of times I rewatch things I grew up with, and I'm like, Edward Said, are you seeing this shit? Or damn, that's transmisogyny that I didn't expect.
Yep.
Didn't know that was there.
Like
I'm
surprised how many kid shows I've like revisited just out of curiosity and been like, oh wow, I did not remember that transmisogyny, or
like,
or that
racism.
racism.
I get it, like or not get it, like in terms of like why they included it, but I get. Wow, that's incredible, Judith. That's hilarious. Okay, bye, Bionicle Guy.
See you, Bionicle Guy.
But, like, Futurama is a show I really like.
God, yeah.
A teenager, and like that one, I see it. Oh, I will.
This is what the world looked like hundreds of millions of years ago. It was just one big continent.
Wow, Pangea.
And do you know what this is?
The moon.
Good job, Manal. Well done.
I know. I'm so great.
You are.
I'll show you the real thing soon. I promise.
I love his glasses down on his nose, like further down.
The stubble is really interesting
Yeah.
to me, how it's animated. That's really interesting.
The whole wide world will be yours to explore. You'll be able to go wherever you want. Even the moon.
Judith, do you know anything about botany? Can I ask you botany questions? Is that something you were able to answer? I'm waiting for Judith to respond. But you know, like, there's a lot of old shows. Oh, that's very sad. I don't know who I would ask. Are we done?
We are done, but if you want something you want to keep talking about, we can.
No, the only thing I was going to ask is if Judith understood how sumac is on both this continent and the other continents.
It would probably go back to Gondwana or Pangea, I would assume.
I don't know. It seems like they taste very similar, and that feels really strange. No idea. We can talk about this another time. Maybe I can do a cooking thing, and we'll have a deep dive in sumac, and I'll call up a botany expert. Who knows? I don't know how to look into it as part of the problem for me, Judith. So if you have any ideas, or you know anyone who's into like ancient botany, maybe they can help. Anyways, bye.
Okay. Everyone, thank you all for being here. You're a wonderful, beautiful people, and I love you so much. This was a fun stream, even if we had to kind of retread some grounds at the beginning. I'm glad to be playing the director's cut now, and I'm hoping to play this some more, even with my work starting up. I'm hoping I get used to it and I can stream on work nights. Even we'll see. I'll let you all know as things go. You're wonderful, beautiful people. I love you so much. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider becoming a member. If you do, you get special benefits such as emotes, badges, shoutouts, and the possibility of joining Pepper on stream or in her Minecraft realm. The Minecraft realm is in flux right now, but we'll see. Our current tier 3 grubs are Shiny Warrior Wolf and Nonex. Our current tier 2 treat is Pie the Queen of Orange, and our current tier 3 full tummy is Moopy Star. And if you want to support the channel in other ways, you can do so via Streamlabs donations and super chats. Those go to our survival, and we super appreciate them. Just as we appreciate anyone who has donated in the past and anyone who is our current members who I just read, or our past members. Pepper's Blue Sky and Discord server are in the description. We'd love to have you there. All right. Pepper, are you streaming tomorrow? What's the plan? Are you streaming tomorrow?
I don't know.
Look out for Pepper's schedule posted later tonight for the next stream. I hope to see you all soon. I hope you all see Pepper soon. This was a lot of fun. Thank you all. Goodbye. And